Okay. And who wants to own an electric car? So what are you guys doing? Why you don't have one right now today?
I'm still studying. So 100% on a Tesla.
Is it because of a problem, or you're just figuring it out, or you're just lazy? What's the reason? Right. So I think that's one of the challenge why the adoption of electric vehicles in India or globally has been quite slow. And that what we believe is there are particularly three challenges which are more user-facing challenges, including charging, range, and price. So A, you charge for long hours. B, even after charging for long hours, you only drive for 100, 150, 200 kilometers maximum. And then the price of the vehicle is almost 3 times that of a similar petrol or diesel car. So I think these three challenges make the adoption very slow. People, since the adoption has not been very high, so there are certain other challenges which will soon enter the market as adoption increases. A, of safety, because as you know, even a small mobile with lithium-ion batteries misused can catch fire or explode. And we, as Indians, particularly had a very bad reputation to misuse our vehicles for that matter. So you can always imagine about what kind of havoc that can create. So what I'm going to present today is a solution to all these challenges, and I believe, and my team here believes, that by this solution the adoption can increase multifold, and we can see more and more electric vehicles, zero emission, clean energy driving on the roads. So I'll play a video and happy to take up any questions after that.
Log9 materials. As technology evolves, the need of electric energy is on the rise. However, this rising demand is met by an equal impact on the environment, as still most of the sources of electricity are polluting in nature. Automobiles is one of the most polluting sector, which has called for the need of electric vehicles. But the current battery technologies used to power EVs see certain challenges, which make the overall concept of electrification of vehicles difficult to be adopted by the masses. Current battery technology, which needs to be charged before driving, enables an electric vehicle to have a range of just 100 to 150 kilometers, post which it needs recharging for an average of 5 hours. Further, the task of setting up the charging infrastructure is humongous, both in cost as well as space required, particularly in India, where the majority of cars are parked outside the house on the roads. The need for public charging infrastructure is even more profound.
The future of mobility is electric, that is for sure. But are we actually moving towards a cleaner future? Yes, energy storage technologies have evolved, but they still face problems like using scarce minerals, vulnerable to fire and explosions, and is pretty costly. On top of that, the evolution in energy storage has not been met by a similar growth in clean energy generation. So most of the electricity that we actually use to charge our batteries comes from polluting sources. This calls for the need of a new clean energy generating technology which is easily deployable, modular, compact and robust, and can cater to the increasing demand of electric vehicles as well as stationary applications.
Log9 Materials, a nanotechnology based startup having years of experience in commercializing graphene, the wonder material, has developed a clean energy solution for both mobility and stationary power backup applications. They have created a metal-air battery which generates energy by a chemical reaction rather than needing to be charged from the grid power, and which has the potential to increase range of electric vehicles to beyond 1,000 kilometers. The battery runs on aluminum, water, and air, making it a truly clean and viable solution.
Graphene is the most efficient and enhanced form of carbon that exists today in the world. Metal air battery technology has struggled for years with primitive forms of carbon, leading to low efficiencies and high cost. Leveraging years of experience in materials development and product development, Log9 has made metal air battery technology a commercial reality.
This is one single cell of our aluminium air battery. Water flows inside this cell through these nozzles. Aluminium here and graphene membrane here are the 2 points of electric charge generation. water interacts with air via this membrane. Aluminium disintegrates into powder. This powder can be again regenerated to form aluminium metal. So this is how we get clean energy.
The team did a prototyping of the solution, developed and ran a car powered by the same around the city. All you need is a bottle of clean water every few hundred kilometers. Also, they created a prototype of a genset using their technology, which acted as a supply to their office.
This carbon electrode here, or more commonly known as the air cathode, is the most crucial component of the metal air battery. But at the same time, it is also the most expensive one. Our materials team here has used graphene to improve the efficiency of this electrode by 5 times at 1/3 the cost.
Finally, something which does not generate smoke nor requires the hassle of charging for hours. The technology has applications in various sectors and will be a revolution in energy generation, meeting the ever-increasing demand sustainability. Log 9 material.
So this is the whole concept. We have built the car. It is standing outside. Whoever not seen it can see it after my next speaker's talk. Please be here for the guy who is after me. And so basically what we are solving is a challenge particularly for India, because as a country we don't have any raw materials available to make lithium ion batteries which are currently used for electric vehicles. So there will be no imports, there will be no imported battery packs which are coming into the country if we adopt this technology. And instead it will be powered by aluminium, which India is the 3rd largest producer in the world. So this is what we are building, and happy to answer any questions that might have. Yeah.
You can take the wired one. I'll get it for you.
Hello. Yeah, Akshay. Okay, so what I would like to understand is, see, in past there were like hydrogen cars, okay, and there are like lot of hybrid cars which people were talking about, and then we started talking about electric vehicles, and Mahindra made great moves in this. Now this another technology which comes up. So what you believe are the hindrances for all these technologies to move further and become more commercially viable in India?
So I think from an India perspective, and it's not just about India, from a global perspective, no user is ready to pay. See, as a individual, we are happy to talk about environment, nature, sustainability, green energy and everything. But when it comes to shelling out money, whether it's an Indian or somebody outside India, it always comes to cost parity. The solution has to be at affordable price. If you ask somebody that you can go green, but you have to pay 3 times more, he's not going to do it. And that's blanket true with everybody around the world. So that was the reason why adoption of electric vehicles has been slow, and only companies like Tesla or similar high-end luxury electric vehicles have become a success, because they cater to the needs of a different class of individuals, and it is not the bottom of the pyramid or the majority of the pyramid. So those models have been successful. But if you talk about a car which is like kind of affordable for the masses, lithium ion or hydrogen fuel cell is not gonna make it, because hydrogen fuel cell is even more expensive than lithium ion. So it is 7 times to 10 times more expensive than a diesel petrol car, which is like way off the charts. This technology what we are building is, so we are building it keeping in mind that cost parity is a primary factor, and if adoption has to happen, it has to be comparable to what exists today. So at scale, this will touch the cost factor of a petrol diesel car. Right now it is at 1.5 times in the initial capex, but if you turn out total cost of ownership for 10 years, it is similar to a petrol diesel car, which if you compare to the current lithium ion based electric vehicles, they are almost 2 times that of a petrol diesel car in a 10-year period ownership.
Okay, so I would like to add 2 more questions. Forgive me for this. One is, I understand that you are already using lithium-ion batteries in your existing vehicle to provide that power intensity, right? So I believe through this you are actually cutting down the size of the lithium-ion battery, but you are not absolutely eliminating.
We are not eliminating, so I'll answer this question first and then you can have the second one. So we are not eliminating the lithium ion, so that's why adoption will be faster even, because we are not competing with the lithium ion technology, we are supplementing that technology, A. And then lithium ion has various chemistries involved. So the chemistry that we are using is much more power, has a much more higher power density, and that's what requires a smaller lithium ion pack. And also that lifetime of that lithium ion chemistry is almost 3 times that of the other ones, which so this technology you cannot use in a standalone lithium ion vehicle, but clubbed to our metal air battery it makes a lot of sense. So A, you don't need to change your lithium ion in our variant throughout the life cycle of the vehicle, which you otherwise you need to change every 3 years or 4 years, right? And second is that the whole system, and when I talk about the price point of the car, it is including the whole system, metal air, lithium ion, whatever is required.
Okay, thanks. Second question, and this is my last one, is how come China managed to sell more number of electric cars in year 2018 compared to entire globe put together? Means what was so magical about this?
So I'm glad you asked that. So it's a good perspective to have what's happening in the Chinese market as far as EVs are concerned. So it has happened primarily because of the government mandates. So in China today, particularly in the urban centers, so Shanghai, Beijing and Guangzhou and all those areas, if you want to buy a car and you don't buy an electric car, you have to shell out 10 lakh rupees extra for that vehicle, for getting it registered with the government, right, to getting the number plate basically, right? And if you buy an electric car or you buy a hybrid, plug-in hybrid is what you call it, only these two variants are exempted from this levy of 10 lakh rupees. So that has pushed the purchase of vehicles. But the challenge is even China has not been able to set up charging infra for these vehicles. So although so 1 in every 10 cars or 1 in every 8 cars almost is an electric vehicle. But there's a caveat to that, because 70% of these vehicles are hybrids, which although carry a green number plate for being an electric vehicle, but they are still running on petrol because there is no charging available. So these vehicles can run on petrol as well as on battery, but because there is no charging available, they are still running on petrol. So that is the scenario in the Chinese market right now. No, it has not. It has come down, but not to those levels which was expected.
Hi. I have a question. Like you're primarily targeting on the battery. So are you going to produce battery only for cars in the current setup, or you are planning to launch batteries for other applications too?
So primarily we are a battery company. We are making this. So aluminum air battery, although it's called a battery, but it is not a storage device. It is basically a power generating device. So it is more like, in terms of operation, it is more like a hydrogen fuel cell. But rather than running on dangerous and expensive fuel like hydrogen, it runs on aluminum, which is much safer and cheaper. So that's what we are building, and we are primarily a battery company. Although our focus is to customize the solution for 2 applications. One is obviously electric vehicles, and another is power backup, because diesel gensets in the industry and in urban centers is a big polluting source. So we want to replace that to start with, and then parallelly launch the vehicle in the electric mobility game. So these are the 2 focus areas for us right now. But being a battery company, we are happy to explore any other opportunities.
Okay, so how small can these setup get? Like, can they power something as small as this refrigerator behind you? Or
yeah, it can, because it's a modular setup. There are multiple cells which have to be put together to create whatever output you require, basically. Okay. So it is very good for offshore applications where recharging the battery or refueling very frequently is not possible. So this battery can provide you long power backups for almost a week's time before, and that is continuous operation I'm saying, before you even need to recharge it or refuel it, sorry.
So when you say refuel, you mean water or the aluminum?
Water and aluminum both.
Both. Yeah. Okay, and you will be supplying aluminum blocks for
so
that?
We are currently working with aluminum majors in the country. So to basically handle the fuel economy of this battery system. So though they will be providing the aluminum and collecting back the recyclable fuel, and we will be providing the batteries and all the support needed for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ravi. Yeah. So hi. Here. Hello.
Yeah.
So potential customer, I have. Potential customer, I have a Reva, and the battery is already deteriorating. I just want to know when are you guys going to be ready, so I
So
can
I've
spend
saved
some-
your number, sir, and I'll reach out to you in 7 to 8 months' time.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All done? No more questions? Okay, thank you guys. And whoever not seen it, we are outside for another 15-20 minutes and you can have a look. And yeah, thank you.